What I'm about to go over is one of the most important things you can learn on your spiritual path. How you talk to God. How God talks to you. People are like, oh, you talk to God? That's weird. People don't think that you can, or that they don't understand what it looks like when it comes in. But you can. You are an aspect of God. How is God not communicating to you all the time? You're like actually just enmeshed with it. You're merged with it, whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not. You're in this life. There's no escaping it. That's why a lot of my videos, I'm like, there's no escaping it. Just submit, just surrender. And what happens when you surrender is the degree to which you surrender and fully let go, the more God can come to you and talk to you. So this is a little bit related to my signs video where I go over all the different signs and what these things look like. But what I'm going to specifically address in this video is the mental ideations that come in, the thoughts, where you have like a conversation. Just like I'm talking to you guys, you can hear your voice and God's voice, okay? So basically, like, I addressed some of this stuff in like my live stream, like I think it was the third live stream, where you eventually learn to communicate directly with God. God's always talking to you. Not always. He's not just like constantly peppering you with just like these thoughts and ideas. No. The primary way that God talks to you is through stillness. The degree to which you're still, the degree to which you feel peace in any given moment is like the utter communion. And there's really no words needed. But sometimes we do need guidance, and sometimes we need to bounce ideas off of God. Sometimes we need to supposedly, like they say, give our worries to God. But the difficult thing is that when you're worried and you have a bit of fear, it's kind of like a middleman between your connection to God and the fear and the fearful thought, the fearful idea. It gets in the way. It's like the more you feel the fear, the more detached you are, and the harder it is to discern between what is a fearful idea and what is God's true voice. So, why do I keep going over meditation and prayer? In almost every one of my videos, I'm like, you're going to meditate and you're going to pray. How do I do this? You meditate and you pray. How do I get to this state? You meditate and you pray. How do I talk to God? You meditate and you pray. Why? Why? Why am I gonna sit and spend time doing this, Darius? You know, I just talked about it in my devotion. You have to sincerely look for it. And I'm gonna tell a story later about what it looked like for me when I finally broke through and started realizing what it was like to speak to God directly. I had a full like night conversation with God. So the reason that you're meditating and that you're praying is so that you can start recognizing your own internal stuff, so that you can start to learn how to discern, how to tell the difference between certain energetic blueprints behind thoughts and feelings and emotions and knowings. Okay? You're not going to get it. You're not going to have that discernment and that understanding when you're constantly lost in thought, the repetitive, egoic, bullshit thought pattern that is largely based in fear. You're not going to have that ability there, guys. That's why most people think that they can't, or they don't realize it, or they're just detached. They only buy into the physical. Fine, do whatever you want, man. But the people that are psychic, the people that are channeling, the people that are speaking to God, that get visions, that get whatever, those things drop in through stillness, man. They don't drop in when your mind's busy with bullshit, do they? How can they? Your mind's on. Your mind almost has to be off so that God can turn it on through a little knowing, feeling, thought, whatever comes in. Okay? So if I sit and meditate, I'm listening to God. I'm open. I'm making myself utterly still, and I'm just noticing what's coming in. And a lot of the time when you first are starting to meditate and you haven't started getting into the stillness of what you are, who you are at your soul essence, the spark of the divinity in you, at the beginning, it's just restless thoughts. Your problematic stuff. Oh, he said this, she said this. Oh, that something smells weird. Your thoughts can take you anywhere, literally anywhere. Whatever you just happen to be thinking about that day, it's just ongoing, and then there's no rest from it, okay? So the meditation gets you into the stillness, and then you start becoming aware of your thoughts. You start becoming aware of the you behind your thoughts, and you're noticing that space. between the thoughts, behind the thoughts that you are. So once you root yourself in that, you can hear. Okay? Now, why the prayer? Well, A, because you want to give thanks. You want to actually sit down and say, hey, man, thanks. Thanks, God. You're cool. I like you. You're a cool dude. You're a cool dudette. You're a cool thing. Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. It's all of those things. There's no gender. It's outside of anything. Thank you. That's one aspect of prayer. Give thanks. When you become the prayer, like I say, when you become the meditation, when you embody it fully, you're just always in a state of gratitude anyway. You're just by you participating, you are kind of showing your thanks through participation in aligned state. Okay? But the prayer, most importantly, that people don't realize, this is the core thing, guys. It gets you in touch with your true voice. Your true mental voice, guys. Okay? So, and I mentioned this in the video, the live stream, right? When your thing is on, the mind, the ego, just spewing shit constantly, that's not your true voice. It's just, there's no intentionality behind that. It's just randomly on. Whatever wants to come in just comes in, and there's really no control there. When you root your mind, okay, then you'd start directing your thought. So the prayer gets you into a rooted directness, directing of the thought prayer. Okay? So let's say I sit down and I'm going to be still and I pray. And then I mentally say blessings to God. Om Namah Shivaya. That is my internal voice. That is my internal conscious, willful, intentional thought. And I start doing that more and more. And I start recognizing that voice. I know the blueprint of it. I know the energetic. I know what it feels like. It's very distinct. It's very distinct, okay? And it has a loving energy usually, okay? Your true voice is what they call the conscience, okay? Your conscience, it just wouldn't let you like do that nasty thing. Your higher self just wouldn't let you do that. You're like, I had to go back and like, return the thing that I stole. I felt bad. Well, that thing, that intuition, that idea, that whatever that made you kind of feel bad, I know I did something wrong, is your conscience, okay? It's your higher self that's pointing you on the path, okay? So once you recognize your true voice, and with the meditation, you can sit in stillness, then you can discern between your voice, the external bullshit, fearful thoughts of the egoic self, okay? Because that's a whole like group. That's a whole like tree that comes out of the same root of fear. It's all bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Fear. It's anxiousness, depression. I'm nothing. I'm a piece of shit. Oh my God, how could they say this? Judging, right? Assuming all these types of different things are colored with fear in some sense. That's the root of it. Anger, impatience, frustration, desperation. Okay? There's no ease. Okay. So we've established that. Your voice, right? When I'm speaking, when I'm channeling, that's my voice. There's no thought, guys. I'm not like thinking, premeditating what I'm going to say. It comes in. It's my voice aligned with God's voice that comes in through me, through the heart. My intuition is speaking, basically. My intuition is speaking, and it's basically words being assigned to the intuition that are like being spoken as mental constructs for you guys to get it on the level of your minds, which then will penetrate your mind and then filter into your own intuition and then be realized as, oh, this feels right, makes sense, or it doesn't make sense. So you got your mind, you own it. It's not out of control. You're not a bitch to it. You're not a slave to it. You're a slave to your fucking mind, okay? I am me, Darius. I'm not even my name. I'm just me. I am that I am. That I am voice in you that speaks to God, that prays to God, is always there, ready to pop up whenever you choose it. The entity behind, the thoughts, the awareness that you are, you choose it. I'm choosing to speak to God when I pray. And then all of the extra stuff that's just, it's just spinning, the wheel, the roller coaster, whatever you want to call it, of just stuff, right? Okay. So we've established that stuff. Now you're at a point where you can discern, because you've practiced this meditation and prayer enough, between this egoic bullshit layers of mental noise and nonsense and your one true voice. Okay? And the more you do it, the clearer it becomes and the more you recognize it. And then there's a third dimension to this, guys. Because on our dual levels, these fearful thoughts that are coming in, that's the devil, the illusion, the fear. And then your conscience, your voice, is most often aligned with the truth and the love and the encouraging voice wants you to participate. You're not nothing, you can do, okay? And then there's almost like a third voice, okay? This third voice is what I call the God voice that you finally communicate with. And what you're going to notice is that it just comes in as a response to what your truest voice, asks. So you can bounce ideas off of it, or it can just come in uninvited, like they say, intrusive thoughts, right? Most of our intrusive thoughts today in the modern world that people associate it with is fearful shit, like, I couldn't help myself, I had this intrusive thought and I just had to do it, like some nasty thing. No. There's also the positive intrusive thoughts that are God's messages to you, what we call downloads in the New Age community, okay? So you're getting like mini downloads all the time through this conversation with God that you're having, if you choose to have it, if you can discern it. So you still yourself, you root yourself, you're regularly praying, and now you enter into a state where I speak, my mind, "Hi God, how are you?" And then I rest in stillness. And the next thought that comes in that I'm aware of, as long as it's not shaded with some fearful negative energy, that voice that drops in that sounds also kind of like me is the response of God. "Hi God, how are you doing?" "I am doing fine, my son." Something like that. "Hey, what's up, buddy?" It can be anything. It can sound like anything, guys, this thought from God. And it can also appear as anything in your reality. It can be an external that's a sign, that's God communicating to you through that. And then because you're so still and because you recognize the energy of it, you're like, oh, that's clearly what God's pointing at. God can use things in our reality much more efficiently, visions and like images and associations that we already have embedded in us, more easily than one little thought. Because one little thought is just so finite, it's just one little piece. What can you truly express through one sentence or one comment, And that's why Jesus is like, let your yes be yes and your no be no. It's like, keep it simple, man. Like all the added stuff is extra nonsense, basically. Okay. But so I'm going to sit in prayer and I'm going to regularly pray. And I'm going to like consciously choose to direct my voice towards God. And as a result of me consciously choosing to direct my voice that way, God's like, you're getting more and more in touch with your voice. And then now you can more easily discern between what your true conscience voice is and my own blueprint, which is very similar to your conscience. You see, your conscience is basically another word for your higher self. And then your higher self is another word for the God that lives in you. So it's like your conscience is basically your divine spark of God's voice. And then whatever else you hear that's aligned with the truth and the good and the encouragement and the love and like the uplifting thing, it's always going to point to that, guys. The fear and the negative shit, that's always aligned with the evil, negative aspect of life. God doesn't want you to feel that way, ever, if you can help it. That's your own internal resistance and struggle that's creating whatever prison for yourself in that fearful shit. So God's trying to constantly liberate you through these positive thoughts that might sneak in, but you don't necessarily recognize that's God, because it's so switched on all the time that one thought that happens to come in when you had a brief moment of stillness, your mind switches on again and starts analyzing it and thinking it's you and all these different things. No, when I'm having a conversation with God, I know that it's not me. Do you see what I mean? It's like, I know any individual thought isn't me. They are all just suggestions. They are all just like, hey, take it or leave it. Hey, God. I mean, even with God suggesting something, I can choose to take it or leave it. But God already knows whether you're going to choose to take it or leave it. He leaves it in a certain way that gives you a little disposition to feel a certain thing to it, And then maybe that creates some more resistance and more stuff for you to work through that you realize. So, hey, God, how's it going? And I'm still. Hey God, how's it going? And then I'm still, I'm waiting. I'm not even actively waiting. I'm just still. I'm rooting myself. That's what the meditation does. Teaches you how to root yourself in this stillness. And because I'm so still, the next thought that pops off, and it isn't coming from me, it's because it's not going to be this egoic, fearful shit. The next thought that literally drops in through your crown chakra, that's where it comes from. That's why there's the crown. Okay? That's basically God talking to you. Hey God, how's it going? I'm doing good. How are you doing? You know? And so what happens then after you've practiced enough with this and you can discern between what your voice is, what God's voice is in you, and then what the fearful evil one is, like the devil, like how Jesus calls it, the evil one. Like the angel and the demon on your shoulder. It's outside of duality though, but God has to show himself in one way or another to us. It's like anything that gets filtered through your mind is always going to be duality. So you're like, well, Darius, you were saying that God exists outside of the good and the bad. Yeah. But he's going to choose to align himself more with the good because that's naturally closer to what his state is. The peace and the love, or the peace and like the stillness that you are, is more aligned with that loving spectrum of goodness. So he's going to align himself with that and give you those encouraging words to keep you going. Because he doesn't want you giving up on yourselves, guys. He doesn't want you like offing yourselves because, oh no, life got too hard and I just gave up on myself and life around me. No. That's the negative one that's telling you that you're not enough and that you're not good enough and like, what's the point anymore? It's very like, apathetic and like, no. There's no resistance. You're fully in it. And God's like, oh, they get it. Here, let me show you a little more of me to you. And then what happens eventually is that you merge with it. Okay? So then now your conscience becomes God's voice in you, and God's voice in you becomes your conscience. And anyone that came before that was saying they're a prophet and they're a chosen and they're a truth tellers, they are channeling literally the voice of God coming through them. That's why all the Israeli, Jewish prophets were like speaking the word of God. You see what I'm saying? It's like you get to a place where you're a fucking filter. You're a beacon. You're a conduit for this thing funneling, channeling through you. You're pushing it out all the time. So when I'm sitting here, like 99% of people out there, when they're thinking and interacting and communicating with people, it's all very back and forth in the mind. And you're premeditating what you're going to think. And like you're constantly reacting and judging and bouncing back and forth in this like egoic, fearful state, back and forth in your mind. And that's a prison, okay? What happens is that goes away almost entirely when you're fully rooted in this stillness. And now what emerges is your true voice aligned with God's voice. And basically, it's like if I speak it now, it is God talking to you guys through Darius, his own POV. And it's going to be colored by my own personal idiosyncrasies, my own experiences, my own mental stuff. It has to come in that way, guys, because that's how the mind's built. There's no way around it. Even the fearful stuff is part of God, but it's not aligned with God. That's the difference. So, the story. I told you guys already how I like had this, not even a crisis of faith. I wouldn't call it that. It was just more like I'm not feeling so great. I'm aware, my intuition's aware. I start seeking the inspiration. I start getting signs. I start following guidance. Okay. And that was in early 2023. Well, towards the end of 2023, I'm still at this job that I don't like. This is like September into October of 2023. It wasn't until like 6 months later, 8 months later or whatever. No. Yeah, 7 months later in May of 2024 that I actually like left on my road trip. That whole like little 6-month period was me getting the courage and trying to get myself to a place where like I'm gonna take this leap of faith. I'm gonna leave my job. I'm gonna like whatever, okay? But how did I get to the understanding that I need to quit my job and I have to take this leap of faith and I have to go on this like road trip? Because it started being revealed to me over time, day by day as each day went. a week or two would pass and like a new thing would come in, like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to, and it was insane. Your average person wouldn't make the decisions I made, guys. It was full faith that I was going on. There was no like I was already embodying that manifestation energy of knowing what's to come. And God was gonna make my path straight for me, as they say in Proverbs, okay? So, God, there's like this bug that keeps biting me down here. That's why I keep, okay, um, so one night, I was reading Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, okay? And I've read it before, but I was reading it just for some inspiration. I was like, you know, whatever. And it was late. It was like I had gotten done with work that day and I had been up doing whatever I would normally do. And then before I go to bed, I would usually read for like half an hour or an hour, some spiritual stuff, whatever it was that I would happen to be reading at the time. And that just so happened to be reading Conversations with God, which ironically led me into my own first aware, I was like aware that this was happening, conversation with God, because I've always had conversations with God. Looking back on it, I just didn't realize that's what it was. This was the first fully aware one. It's happening. Oh my God, thank you, God. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. It's kind of miraculous almost that I'm actually aware and I'm bouncing shit off of you for the first time. And now like I start eventually incorporating that into like the very essence of my being, which is like fucking utterly trippy, this whole state of being, okay? So I'm reading this part of Conversations with God, and it's like, and you'll seek, and then like if you like, it wasn't written like this at all. I'm paraphrasing something about it. I just remember feeling frustrated. I was reading it, and it was like, it'll be revealed to you if you keep searching. You'll find it. Don't worry. Like everything's all good. And I remember I closed my freaking ebook reader, and I put it down, like, and because I'm like leaning back. I remember like I'm reclining in my chair with my legs up. And I'm reading this and I get frustrated and I'm like, I close this fucking thing. I put it on my fat fucking belly. I just like rest it out top of it, okay? And I get so frustrated. I'm like, God, bro, I have been searching sincerely for months now for my life. Haven't I shown you enough? Haven't I been the zealot? Haven't I searched so much, more than most? Haven't I? What am I doing wrong, bro? Like, fucking reveal yourself to me, man. Like, talk to me, man. Show me something. And after that whole little purge of like whininess and complaining, there was stillness for like 5-10 seconds, and then a thought came in. And it's like, I'm always with you, bro. And then I was like, whoa, that wasn't me. That wasn't my whiny voice me. That was a whole nother energetic blueprint voice that came in. I'm always with you, my son. I love you. You're protected always. That was the first part of the conversation. And your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your ancestors, these spark beings that watch over you, they're always with you. Like, they're actually like next to you all the time. But because like there's no space where they're at, it's just mergedness, right? This earth is happening at the same time, and it's just like different layers of like energetic stuff that we're not tuned into and we can't see. That's why some people can see ghosts, some people can see apparitions and stuff, because it's all here. It's all one. Anyway, so your spirit guides take on the role of God for you. They're the spokesperson. They're like your guardian angel, the archangel Michael and Gabriel especially, because he's the messenger, he's the voice, he's the spokesperson. That archetypal energy we've assigned to the archangel Gabriel doesn't really exist that way, guys. It's just like this little light feeling thought construct of stuff that the Gabriel is, and we personify it, create personifications out of these energies. Basically, it's like let me give it to you this as like a tree. Okay, if you could imagine. Let's say God is on the throne. God's on top. God's on top. God's everything. And then it's like, then God's like, hey, send this, and this is all happening instant. It's automatic. There's no filter. There's no resistance in any of these things that are coming in. Okay, so as soon as God thinks that, it comes to you immediately. It's like faster than light kind of shit. Instant. There's no light. Like, there's no like, I'm limited by the speed of light stuff. No, It's beyond speed of light. It's instant. It's simultaneous. God thinks, send this message to Darius. He sends it to the archangel Gabriel in our personified view of this, right? If it were to exist this way, let's just say hypothetically. Gabriel sent this to Darius's guardian angel, his ancestor, his being, his higher self part. Send that to him. Then Gabriel's the middleman, and then Gabriel sends the message to your higher self angel being that's gonna speak to you. It's your higher self that already knows the past and the future of your life. Okay, that's kind of the best I can articulate this whole stuff, guys. Okay, so. And then when Muhammad has like Gabriel appear to him, he's basically saying, I'm having a conversation with God. Same way Neil Donald Walsh did, same way I'm saying I had it after I read this part. So I'm like, man, God, what the fuck? And then he's like, I'm here, bro. It's almost as if God appeared in the room with me. That's how I felt. I didn't see visions of God. I just had a conversation with him. It, her. And God morphed and took on many voices and many different styles and energetic blueprints and feelings and emotions and understandings and it can almost become erotic too and fun. And God was hilarious that night, guys. God was making me laugh my ass off. Everything that I would say, God would come in with some quip or like some like little funny thing. You know, like, how could you not notice this, Darius, all this time? Oh, I'm so happy you know what I mean? Like, he's just funny. And it's like you can sense the positive sarcasm in a way. He's just fucking with you. If you're in a nasty place and you're sarcastic all the time, yeah, that's the devil, okay, obviously. But God can fuck with you too. And God can be erotic. God can make you feel hot for yourself, hot to go. You know what I mean? God can like I was having voices of like women in my mind, guys. It wasn't my own voice, and it wasn't like some negative, fearful shit either. It was like anything you could imagine coming through you as the most erotic, sensual expression of itself. God can be that if it wants to. It doesn't have to be some personified person in front of you that's female that you have sex with that is only erotic. You see what I'm saying? It's a feeling. It's an emotion. It's like an understanding, a knowing. So it goes on for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe even 4. Because it might have been like 11 o'clock at night that I'm reading. And then it went into like 3 or 4. And then like it kept going and going. And I wanted to stay there, guys. I'm like, now that I found it, I don't want to go anywhere, man. Let me stay with you. He's like, no. You can rest. I'm with you always now. I've always been with you, my son. I love you. And then it hit so fucking hard, guys. I cried so fucking hard. Because I felt so alone for so long, you know? And I was like, how much more suffering am I going to endure, man, you know? And it was like this catharsis process that I went through. You know, it was miraculous. And that was the beginning of me realizing this is your path, man. Like you just had your first conversation. Like you've been on this path this whole time. And all these signs that God's been sending to you are like 911s, like 1111s all the time saying, hey man, like find your inspiration and let's fucking go. Let's go, dude. You got this. I got your back. So what do? Like the next day or 2 days later, I quit my job. And then like 2 days, actually no, I applied for a loan because I knew I was going to quit my job while my credit was still going to be good. I get like a $25,000 loan. And I'm like mentally calculating. I'm making a plan already, guys. I already know what it's going to look like. It's delusional. I take out a loan, okay? Because I know that I'm not going to work. And at that time, I thought I'm going to start my channel soon. I thought like 6 months from now, I'll start my channel. But it didn't work out that way. It took actually like 1.5 years until I started my channel. There was a whole added year to my own estimation. See, my own idea was wrong. God's like, no, it's going to play out this way and it's going to be perfect. You have no fucking clue, Darius. Just trust me every step of the way. And I did. I get a $25,000 loan out. I open an extra credit card or 2. And now I have like 5 or 6 credit cards, all with like $8,000 to $10,000, $12,000 on them. And I'm going to go on this journey and I'm going to be spending knowing that I'm going to pay it off eventually. And then listen to this. Then in February, like 4 months later, I get the idea I'm going to go on the road trip of redemption But how am I going to go on a road trip without a car? And I don't have money, guys. I haven't been working. I have enough money to like put a down payment on, right, from the loan that I got and all this different stuff. I get a car that I can't afford to go on a road trip that I can't afford, to do the final purge, to lead to a channel, to lead to my YouTube channel, which eventually will bring on abundance. I know this. It's like I have 2,000 subscribers now. You guys might think I'm crazy. I know I'm going to be known, man. I know people are going to provide for me. I know that the message is going to get out there. I'm not worried. I'm not. But it's like there's bits of resistance that come along because the stuff that I've been doing is just so fucking utterly detached, man, to your average person. It's so fiscally irresponsible. It's so utter faith. People have a really hard time getting there. And the reason that I knew this stuff would work out is because I've been through so much fucking shit. I've been homeless and had nothing. I've been through the most utter hell you guys couldn't imagine. And if I've gotten through that, I can get through anything. And God's like, hey man, even if you, because I'm always thinking like, okay, I need money. I need money. I need money to go on this thing. I need money to eat. I need money for all these things, right? I need money. Obviously, we need it. We can't escape it, okay? But let's not turn it into the end-all be-all of our existence. But I'm thinking, I need money for this, for whatever I'm gonna do. God's like, I'll take care of you. I got you, okay? But in the back of my mind, I was also like, even if all hell breaks loose, even if this plan falls flat on its face, even if for whatever reason God decides to bait me into this, if this is the devil masked as God, right, or whatever, okay? I knew it wasn't because I was already in touch with the true voice of God at that point. I hadn't reached the final clarity yet. That would come later. That would come recently. I knew that even if I ran out of money and I had to sell my car and I had to do whatever, that like I could go be homeless if I needed to again and I would find my way either way. I was already willing to give up everything to find everything, guys. The true faith, always provided, always taken care of. And God is trying to beat this into me. Starting in that September-October conversation, God's trying to like every fucking day, faith. Don't question this shit. Faith. I got you, bro. You are protected always. If I ever casually just like, oh, I'm so Darius, you are protected always. It always comes up in me. It's almost like an affirmation that I've built into myself. You're protected always. We love you always. You are loved beyond measure. You are love itself. Express yourself. You are the example. Express yourself. You are merged. Express yourself. Have no fear. We got you. Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. I love you too. Like, I love you too. And now then that love that I have for God transforms itself and transcends itself and becomes automatically everything that I love. Oh, I love you guys. Yay. It's like you don't make an enemy out of the situation anymore, man. You don't make, that's why Jesus is like, love your enemies. Like people are like, how can I possibly love my enemy? Are you fucking crazy? Because you know that that enemy is a part of God ultimately, guys. And you're just happening to make them into an enemy. Your mind is, and that's the illusion. No one's ever truly an enemy in the grand scheme of things, guys. We're all just players and we're all role-playing out here, man. That's all it is, temporary role-playing. One life, and then you die, and then you come in as another role. You reincarnate, you spawn again, you get infinite lives. People don't get this. Anyway, so you can have this conversation and you can embody it eventually. That's where I'm at. I don't even like need to have conversations with God because I trust myself and God so fully. I already know the aligned feeling of what I am is already pouring out the truth all the time anyway. How can it not? And that's what I mean by when you see it, you can't unsee it. You just become merged with it, and every aspect of your existence kind of becomes this faultless perfection of truth that decides to manifest itself however it feels in the moment, in this current reality as it plays out. It's like, I can't even articulate accurately how inseparable you are from it, the fully merged state. And so anyone that comes in and says, Darius, you're delusional, that you think you can talk to God, Darius, you need psychiatric help, Darius, you need this or that, it's like, You only get into trouble psychiatrically when you start doing fearful shit and crazy shit. I'm fully in control, guys. I am. Like I'm not doing the crazy shit I used to do when I was mentally ill and bipolar and like having manias and extreme depressions and like, getting into psychoses and shit. No. I've recognized all of that illusion and now I'm rooted in myself. I had to go through that whole mental illness to find myself, ironically. It was part of my conditioning. It was part of my identity for a while. And because I never fully accepted it, it led me to the path. It was perfectly designed. How can I argue with it? It happened that way. And you'll notice that about your own path too. Whatever brought you here to this path that you're watching this video was perfection. You can't argue with it. It happened the way it happened. Notice the perfection in it. Notice how it's all suffering and designing itself to get you back onto your path of awakening and then eventual enlightenment. That's all. And so now, everywhere I go, I see God. Everywhere I go, God is talking through me. He's not only having a conversation mentally with me, it is literally every aspect of my being is a conversation with God. Any expression can be sex. It can be like, I'm going to go take a shit on the toilet. It's the most divine shit you've ever had. I can eat this food. It can be the most simple food, and it's the most divine meal you ever ate. There is a sanctity and a holiness to every aspect of your doing and being when you are in this place. And God is communicating to you through literally everything you're doing all the time because you're merged with it.